Greetings. Welcome to Wake the Dead. Today we are very happy to have a good friend of the show, Mr. Francesco Sani. Welcome, Francesco.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for having me back once again. Great to be here.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. The last time we saw you was you came to visit during the Black Pill Digest number 8. We were talking about
right.
We were talking about gun laws and gun rights, and it was great to see you. You just showed up out of nowhere, and it was perfect, and we're very happy to have you. And that was a late night recording, and you over in Italy were just getting up, and we were winding down. It was just perfect.
No, actually, I think it was. I think you exceptionally did the show earlier, so I was able to participate.
Oh, that's what it was.
Because it's usually in very early morning or like middle of the night for me. So
yeah, right. The other time that we spoke was it was in the thick of the pandemic, and you were discussing how Italy was rolling out their tyranny, and that was a great episode. We learned a lot about the attitudes and the methods and how the cops are doing it over there. And we kind of got into briefly about the inception of the different totalitarian regimes and how they are all funded basically by the same people. It's the same kind of worldwide cult that's running Mao and Stalin and your guy there, Mussolini. It's basically like that Mussolini started it, and Hitler learned from him and worked together, and it's this growing kind of snowball of tyranny. And now that we're in this day and age, all of the information and understanding of how to dominate people they've been wielding it, and now they're slipping the noose, and they're putting this on the whole planet. And I think that's a good topic that we should be getting into. From your perspective on the other side of the planet, we can talk together. I hope that's a good idea. Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, here, since we are gonna mention totalitarian testing grounds today, also, I think here especially in Italy, with the start of the pandemic, we actually saw that we were the starting point in the West for all the. Yeah, I mean, even the term lockdown came with came from Italy, actually, and
wow, really? I thought it just came from prisons in general.
Applied to the house arrests for this regarding the whole scandemic thing, for locking people in their house. Yeah, I believe it was from Italy that we started saying lockdown, and then everybody adopted it for that same to refer to that same thing.
Right.
So and from there, you just notice all the measures that they were taking, and that they were sticking here in Italy because people just accepted them, and then they tried them abroad in various methods. But yeah, so we were basically the testing ground for that. And also, I think now we are sort of another testing ground, I believe, for the digital identities. And
really?
Here they are rolling that out, and apparently in about like a couple of years, probably won't be able to do that much without one.
Like grocery
maybe
shopping,
if you want, you can, but they probably make it very difficult. And they're already starting. For example, I was looking up passport procedures, and you can't have a passport now without a digital, a sort of a precursor to a digital ID. So
really,
and there's no way you can do it without it. And it was introduced with one of the things that were introduced during that day, and that they weren't removed. So one of the many things. And remember, we still have even now, with all the other things going on, and people are being led to are being brought to forget about what just happened in this past 3 years, and apparently they already did, more or less. And they are what was I saying? So that basically, we remember, we still have mandatory masks in certain places.
Really? Wow.
It will go. Yeah, they're about to expire on December 31st, but who knows if. So in certain places like hospitals, for example, they're still mandatory. You still have to wear a mask.
Man, I went to get some free food from the food bank, and it was, maybe 6 months ago or something, and everybody was, going in, hustle bustle, people everywhere, and I go in and I sign up, and they give me the little paper, and I'm waiting in line, and some little 16-year-old girl walks up, and she's wearing a mask, and she says, "You need to wear a mask." I was like, what? After all that, the 2 years, I was so mad at this little kid. I don't want to yell and scream at her. I was like, "You are an order follower." I told her, and she's like, yeah, I am. I was like, but I mean, and everybody there, like, they sent me out with no food. And then I was just like livid. And the older women that were working were like, "Why don't you have any food?" I said, "They kicked me out. I can't wear a mask," I told them, whatever. And so then they had to calm me down, and they had to set up a certain thing. But then they were like, "Look, doesn't matter, even though the pandemic is over, we still have to wear them. It's like a government run thing." And they were telling me on the phone, they were like, "Look, we can get a box for you and bring it to your car so you don't have to come inside or whatever." But they were trying to make it easy on me to try to still get me free food. And but basically they were explaining that, even though it's gone, we still have RSV, and we have the flu, and we have these other, and she just started listing these other, and I'm like, whoa. So that's just the new way. That's just how it is there. And I'm guessing that's the same for you there in Italy. But I mean, this is a government operation. I figured that's why. But for you, it's everywhere.
Oh, it's now as far as the masks now, just the hospitals and some other healthcare places.
Right.
I by the way, I had a few troubles last year, I think, or no, actually, a couple of years ago already. Wow. But I had a few troubles with a similar occurrence where I was pretty sure I didn't have to wear it. I wasn't forced to, but they forced me anyway. So, but and I heard also for some job applications that they are trying to still force people to.
Wow.
So.
Oh man.
However, even though they can't do it, they can't do that anymore. So it's kind of, maybe you can get away with being able to not do it. So.
Right.
But anyway, just to say that after all this time, we still have places where we still have mandatory masks. In some places.
Right, and that is, I mean, like they said, that's the new normal for them, for these places. It's not going back. Just like after we had 9/11, we got the police basically grabbing our crotch if we want to get on a plane, and got to take your shoes off and stuff. that's been changed, and it's always like that now, and it will always be. We'll never go back to just walking on a plane. Like
and it's interesting that you mentioned that, because we will 9/11 is a good reminder, I'd say, of like what's happening now and what we wanted to talk about among the other things, because now, don't you know, Islamic terrorism is back from the hiatus due to having to survive. Now they are healed from, and they are back at it. I thought they were all dead from, but apparently I was wrong. So they are back at it because they are some mean mofos, and
they're all funded by the government, by the deep state governments, so they're not going away anytime soon. Yeah, they so somehow they transferred our fear from this imaginary thing that's going to get us to another imaginary thing that's going to get us, and then, oh no, better watch out for this other imaginary thing. And well, those countries over there have imaginary things that they're dealing with. So
it's really it's fantastic how just we forgot all about what has been done to us, what we have been subjected to, and all the rights that have been violated, and now just people just go to the next thing. First it was Ukraine that I wanted to mention in this show, and then now we have with the other false flag psyop that happened, and so
total psyop. I agree.
Yeah, people are just it really shows really that how much entrenched in ignorance we are. We still are as a species. Like,
well said.
And we missed a great occasion with the scandemic to get our head
out of and say no
out of our rear end, and and realize the truth about the slavery system, basically, that you don't own. You thought you owned yourself? No, you are owned by the government. We are owned by the government. So and so we missed that great occasion, and as we know, for the law of consequence, cause and effect, here we are even in more trouble, going deeper in trouble. And now we have like the world is like this big. Many parts of the world are like this big powder keg now with all the and it might people might say these are current events, but first of all, I think they are not really current, actually. So that they go way back, historically, and so it's important to to talk about, to shed light on some of the truth regarding also this sort of events, because they are important too, and they are an active part of the slavery system. It's it's their modus operandi. It's like it's their MO. It's just part of locking this planet down into total dictatorship. So that these are just steps that they are taking with all these wars also. And